It's a Sunrise on Soul Television. We made a promise that after the news, we were going to be bringing you, according to Laura, what's trending in all of Nigeria. Every single person is talking about it. I think even my mother is talking about it. The burial, the death and burial of the former president, General Muhammadu Buhari, and that made virtually every newspaper that we've got today. So let's bring you the newspaper headlines now and talk about it briefly. In the studio with me is still Laura Amanze. I wanted to say something. I'll just not say it now, so just calm down.
Abaka, be careful.
So I still have Laura in the house with me, and to help us take a deeper look on the headlines this morning is our own in-house analyst,
Ichie.
Victor.
Aha.
Anya. Drum roll.
Oh, I'm glad to have you in the house today.
Thank you, viewers.
Thank you, sir. So this morning we have The Punch, we have Daily Trust, we have Daily Independent. Of course, we have a little sports extra, that we've just thrown in there for all the sports lovers. We have Punch Sports Extra, we have The Guardian, we have Vanguard, and then we have the Daily Sun. Let's now begin with what we have on The Punch. Final salute. Nigeria bids Buhari emotional farewell. Now, we've got quite a lot of riders right there. Tinubu, Akpabio service chiefs and governors pay final respect amid tears tribute. Dara stands still as Katsina Airport records over 130 flights. Oshibanjo ex-governors join African leader Saudi King Prince mourn Buhari. Let's head over now to Daily Trust. How Buhari was honored, buried. I mean, that's all about the headlines today on the Daily Trust. And then Daily Independent says, cashew expansion drive, investors eye 7.2 trillion naira inflow into economy. But then we see the Buhari story again that says Buhari, end of an era of man with many perspectives. Tinubu bows before Buhari's remains as he is laid to rest. Punch Sports Extra, I'm throwing that in for just to break a bit of all the Buhari stories. Let Osimhen go. Gala fan threatens Napoli vice president over Nigerian strikers transfer. Quite a lot of things are happening in the world of sports. I suggest you go look some of them up. You never can tell what you would find. Now let's get to the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian newspaper says, leaders, friends, politicians unite in stately farewell for Buhari. That's on page 6. Saudi Arabia, Moroccan king mourn Buhari, praise service to Nigeria. Okay, and then I still see, I'm going to bring this one in now. Senate declines Natasha's recall, insists no binding order. So for people like Laura who really would want to follow up on the Natasha story, it made headlines on The Guardian. I suggest you look it up. And on Vanguard, we have Tinubu, some African leaders bid Buhari farewell. I'm going to be taking some riders from there. Ignore Buhari's 8 years in power. He was a good man, Kuka. Says late president was a good man. Buhari's a statesman who came, saw, conquered, according to Sultan. I'll carry your memory with me, Buhari's daughter Noah. Late president goes home in blaze of glory, honor, as Afei Babalola, Mustafa, Emami, Dixon, Fantami pay tribute. I have forgiven Buhari for any infractions. That's according to Galadima, and that's on page 15. And on Daily Sun, we have this one. Daily Sun says, Buhari, the end. Mammoth crowd bids ex-president farewell. Tinubu leads mourners as UN, EU, Saudi King, Moroccan king, other world leaders pay tribute. And of course, we have that thing on Visa row. FG pledges diplomatic resolution with US and UAE. There was a story I was going to highlight. I do not know why I missed that. That was on the Vanguard. Gunmen allegedly killed 20 in Plateau night raid. But now let's get back to Buhari. Now, Kuka said something. Buhari was a good man. Victor, can you help us react to that? Buhari was a good man, according to Kuka. Says the president. Yeah, according to him, ignore Buhari's 8 years in power. Buhari was a good man.
There's no doubt about that. Personal, private life of an individual is usually quite different from his public life. If you look at Buhari, those who have worked closely with Buhari knew him as a very humorous person. And he has he's a light-hearted person. For instance, there was a period, the vice president then, Yemi Osibanjo, went to the president to complain about what was written about him, and he was threatening to go to court to take the journalist to court. And when he told the president about it, the president laughed and laughed. After laughing, he said, Yemi, Professor, if I tell you what these people have done to me, I don't know whether you can endure what they have done to me. He said, Prof, do you know that these people printed invitation card, married a wife for me, set up a venue, and actually people went there to come and see whether it was true that Buhari was wedding. So that's the type of person he was. And this was somebody who would, while working with him, he would come to you, have you eaten? This, that, throw some banters. That's the type of person he is. And one thing, I can say Buhari wasn't a very greedy person. But there were so many things, people around him could have done so many things. But he looks more like a contented person. He has just few houses, but you now see people who have, they don't even know the number of houses they have, like the former central bank governor. Buhari tells you, and it's confirmed, he has just one house outside Castina, and that is in Kaduna. So give it to him. He remains different person to different persons to different people. That's what Buhari is.
Do you think he really does? Laura is not my in-house analyst, but I need to ask her this question. Do you think the backlash that followed Buhari's death was something justified? Quite a number of people were almost ecstatic the man had died. In fact, some people said one down, one more to go. Do you think that was just something that was justifiable?
Well, it depends on who is justifying and who is rejoicing and who is not. If you look at the analysis today in almost all the newspapers and other media houses, people reacted differently. For those, like there was a man who said I was kidnapped during Buhari's period and nothing was done. I had to pay ransom before I could be released. You look at the level of poverty that we saw. In fact, it started from that period. Yes, Nigeria has been having issues of corruption. And when he came under the mantra of anti-corruption, and then he came in, we didn't see much of that. What we expected from the stories we heard in 1983, he was a disciplined man, he was this, he was that, we're against indiscipline and all that. So when he came, there was a lot of expectations. People, he was like a cult movement, especially from the north. But at the end of it all, a lot of people were disappointed. I, for one, I was, because I had so much expectations. This is a man that has been touted for being such a disciplined person. And then he comes in. The issue of insecurity that was, as at that time, basically in the Northwest. By the time he was leaving office, it has, swept all over the country. You understand? Yes, one would say that he didn't start at this time, but he came promising that he was going to tackle insecurity. And that was one of the reasons why there was a paradigm shift from the PDP to the APC. A lot of people said, okay, the PDP had failed us. They had promised this and promised that. Now a Messiah has come. As a matter of fact, a lot of people saw Buhari as a Messiah that has come. But at the end of the day, what we ordered was not what we got. So if people are reacting differently, so I can't justify anybody being happy that somebody died. You understand? But at the same time, you will also understand the angle they are coming from. A lot of people were impoverished during his period, which if we are going by what is going now, it's like it has been heightened. Because if you look at it, people will say, okay, the policies that have been implemented by the present administration it actually stemmed from Buhari's time. So the implementation was just that what Sir Tinubu, our current president, is doing. It's just implementation of a framework that has been laid down by Buhari's administration. So for me, and for a lot of people, they can say, okay, based on I had a leader, I expected this much, and I was disappointed. So it's like, okay, now he's gone. But personally, I don't take delight in the death of anybody.
You want to say something?
Yes. Laura might just be correct from a perspective. But if you look at Nigeria critically, Nigeria was on the brink of collapse as at the time Buhari came. Forget all the fanfare, forget all the other, the regime before him. The regime before him, over 27 states could not pay salaries. Boko Haram was holding 3 states, collecting taxes, collecting levies. Buhari came. I remember the quote he made from Julius Caesar. And that quote was the quote that actually sent Idi Amin packing in Uganda. He quoted from Julius Caesar, there is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at the floor listen to fortune. Immediately Buhari came to power, he declared state of emergency on the security sector. We all heard about Sambisa Forest. He relocated army headquarters to Sambisa Forest.
But the Sambisa issue, was it neutralized? Those were just statements.
Yeah, no. You get me correctly. He relocated army headquarters to Sambisa Forest. And they routed these insurgents. That people now stepped, most of the participants, like soldiers, police, and the rest of them, they were able to take pictures at the Sambisa Forest. And at a point, these terrorists, now he reduced them to a ragtag renegade. Pockets of violence there, they now moved out from the place they had already taken as their headquarters down to the hinterlands, where they come and hit and run, something like that. And you see, if you look at it, it's still what is operative now. Then, on the issue of the economy, we were importing fuel, and there were always fuel queues. It was Buhari that brought about the end of fuel queues in filling stations. 27 states couldn't pay salaries. Buhari gave them bailout. They wanted to restrict that bailout to federal agencies. He said no, that there's no way the federal employees could be better off while the state is languishing in want. He said he should go around. He gave money to the governors, pay salaries, so that people can beef up, reduce poverty. Under Buhari, you saw so many empowerment programs that benefited people. You saw Empower. Some people were engaged for months, some for years, under Empower. Many people, you can bear with me that some people benefited from that
Empower. They just changed the name. That scheme had started even during Jonathan's time. They came and changed the name to Empower. It just transcended, so you can't really... It was Shopee.
Good.
It was Shopee, so you cannot give the credit totally
No,
to
I'm not
the
giving, I'm
administration.
not giving
Why
it
he's trying
entirely
to say
to.
that Buhari actually took that up, maintained it, and ran it successfully.
Yeah, but
Yes.
the way he's coming at is like it was introduced during his time. So it's
Okay,
just
so
a
let's
carry
just-
on.
Just
leave that
one more,
conversation
one more
there.
minute.
Okay.
It was under Buhari that this issue of we are talking about Empower now. It was also Buhari that introduced
Conditional cash transfer,
conditional cash transfer, and
trader money.
not just trader money. There are so many of them that he introduced that actually benefited people. Let's take it from there.
And it's just that so many people who, in the course of sending tributes, because I want us to look at quite some of the tributes now, in the course of sending tributes, some people said Buhari was the end of an era. What exactly do you make of that?
He really was. If you look at Buhari, incidentally, I'm sounding like this, whereas many people are sounding gloomy. But if you look at Buhari, he's a destiny child. From childhood, he has been this and that. He has been governor, military governor. He has been petroleum minister. He has been head of state before. He still came back to do 2 years as civilian president.
Okay.
And mark me, the last but one president of the country, Musa Yar'Adua, hailed from Katsina.
State.
And Buhari still came from Katsina.
Was it Katsina or Kaduna?
Katsina.
Katsina.
Okay.
Yar'Adua is from Katsina. And Buhari too came from Katsina. He tells something about this. And look at an end of an era. When Buhari left, because he said he didn't want to have anything to do with the people he looked as tainted people, he went solo on CPC. You remember CPC?
Yeah.
It was one-man squad. And single-handedly, with or without structures, Buhari garnered over 12 million votes. That's to tell you, like you rightly said sometime ago, that he had this cult following.
Yeah. But, you know, the Guardian says leaders, friends, politicians unite in stately farewell for Buhari. And we know that Saudi Arabia king was there. We know the Moroccan king was there. We know quite a lot of other people sent in tributes. But your friend is silent on that. The U.S. mission in Nigeria acknowledged that Buhari passed. But there was nothing from Trump.
Trump is not my friend. Trump is not my friend. If there's anybody that campaigned against Trump here in Nigeria, I am at the head of it.
Why do you think he was silent?
Well, Trump has one kind queer character. Can you remember what he said when the Minneapolis senator and the wife were shot? He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. He said that it will be more of what can he tell them? But Trump has that character of disdain. Disdain. One way or the other, trying to mock some other person he feels is better than. If you look at his coming, U.S. has never had such has never been such a divided nation as during the campaigns and the rest of them. That Trump didn't say anything does not remove the fact of who Buhari is, or who Buhari was, sorry.
Well, because I had to keep searching to find out exactly, but, well, I don't know. Laura, do you think it's... That other newspaper said something. It said gunmen allegedly killed 20 in Plateau night raid. That's on the Vanguard. Isn't that sort of an irony, if I may, for lack of a better word, isn't that sort of an irony that, you know, at a time when we are paying respect to a man who, you know, many people believed had the capacity to actually tackle this. In fact, Victor said he did quite a lot of work on that. That on the night when he was buried, there was an alleged raid in Plateau State, where a number of people were killed.
Actually, as at this morning, the number of dead has risen to 27 and still counting in Plateau State. It just tells a lot about the security architecture of the country as it stands now. And it's also, for me, satirically, it's like saying the man that came in saying that if I don't win election, there'll be blood, the baboons and all that. You understand? So for me, it was like a way of telling him, okay, this is how you came in and this is how you're going. Because if he was a man that actually stood for peace, if he had peace and there was actually peace during his reign, perhaps those who are agitating or those who feel that they must spill blood would have at least rested and said, okay, because we are burying this man today, he was a man of peace. Let's shed our salts. But that didn't happen. So for me, it speaks volumes. It just says how people perceive and hold him. That's all I can say on that.
Okay, Victor, I know you want to add to that, but just briefly, as you also help us to understand, you know, last week we had that right here in the studio when we had an order that really was, they really didn't want to confirm it. Buhari, Tinubu gave Shettima a marching order to visit Buhari in London. And in the same hospital where Buhari was, Abdusalami Abubakar was also there. And even when Buhari died, Abdusalami Abubakar came out to say he was just discharged from the same hospital. And then Buhari died. It was called that Buhari has died. And some people have said that so Nigeria is a place for burial, while London is a place for health. What do you think? I mean, all our presidents, Tinubu actually also just came back from, they've not called it a medical tour, but we've seen Tinubu embark on medical tourism in the 2 years that he has been in office. And yet, year in, year out in the budget, we see lots of billions being earmarked for the health industry and for the Aso Rock clinic. Oh.
You see, I want to summarize it in this way. There's this saying that a statesman thinks of the next generation, while a politician thinks of the next election. It's 2 years that Buhari was gone from Aso Rock. But it's 2 years after Tinubu assumed power as the president. And I want to tell you that it's been 2 years of electioneering. In 2025, we are already talking about 2027. If I should go a little bit religious, who knows who will live
until then.
And this issue of heightened politics is part of why you see some of our leaders, they are afraid to attend hospital here. Not because we don't have the expertise. Most of the time, our leaders travel outside and they are treated by Nigerians.
Yeah.
The problem is that if you look at what is happening now, Obi is like the beautiful bride of the Southeast, while Tinubu belongs to the Southwest. And you heighten this issue of ethnicity. And somebody might even be, might not have that confidence to attend to a Yoruba man in power, might not have that confidence to attend to a hospital in man by an Igbo person. The same to all this heightened animosity between the tribes could be part of the reason they usually travel outside. We have fine hospitals here in Nigeria.
Are we saying that when they travel outside as an outside person, and then an Igbo person comes to treat the person. The Igbo person there isn't Igbo anymore, but becomes just a doctor.
Well, there are consequences for actions. One of the reasons we are not making progress in Nigeria is that there are no consequences. Very little thing overseas, your license is withdrawn. And that may be for life. But here in the country, you will see some people, they do certain things with impunity, and nothing comes out of it.
Is that because there are no laws?
There are laws, but the implementation of that law, we have different laws for different persons.
There's another failure of leadership.
The failure of leadership.
Okay, so that's a good place to leave it this morning on the review of the newspaper headlines. Laura has quite a number of things she wants to walk us through. The burial of the former President, General Muhammadu Buhari. It's over to you, Mama.
Okay, we just pick it up from here. Yes, yesterday was agog in Katsina, Daura to be precise. Everywhere was heated up. The mammoth crowd was unprecedented yesterday. You know, people were climbing trees and all that just to look, just to see a glimpse of the remains of our late former president, Muhammadu Buhari. So, but there's something that stood out for me. And that was the simplicity of the burial, the nothingness of life. So can we have that clip of how our president was laid to rest yesterday? Can we have that clip, please? Okay, why the control room is trying to, yeah. Now, that is a clip of how our president was buried. You will see former president. Our former president was laid to rest. So, I don't know, Victor, what do you make of the simplicity of this burial? This is supposed to be a state burial.
Good. That's one of the 5 points of Islam. I like the nothingness of life. Just one...
Go ahead.
Just one breath like that. And that is, whatever I'm president, I am this, I am, you know who I am, will come to an end. And, you know, even according to the Bible, you say you came with nothing and you are going with nothing. And again, it highlights the fact that this place is ephemeral, that whatever you acquire, you leave them behind. Some don't even get sick. They just enter some die in their sleeps.
Yeah.
But you see the same people struggling to acquire all the things, even to acquire what they don't need, to acquire what they will not even make use of. And the simplicity of what is happening there should be a lesson to so many people, especially people at the helm of affairs, especially people in authority. I know this guy, you might not know, many of you might not hear about somebody, the Cameroon rebel, Pol Pot. He is one of the most brutal persons we have seen on earth. But where is he today? You talk about Somali. Somali is in ruins because of the strife between Mohammed Farah Aidid, Othman Ali, and the rest of them. All of them are gone. And Somalia is yet to recover. Yeah, we should learn from the burial of Buhari that all of us, we are those, and unto those we go return to. We are not taking any of this with us while we die.
All right, Amaka, from the position of acquisition of wealth and comparatively how the North, especially the Northern Muslims, how they view the dead compared to the South, what do you make of that?
Well, I really do not know how to put it so that I don't sound too, but, you know, I think the North and the South, I do not think there is really any difference in, you know, their belief in acquisition of wealth, just existing as we pursue wealth. But then again, watching Buhari laid to rest, as soon as I saw that video, I was like, oh, this is very awesome. This is one thing that I love. about Islam. The fact that no matter how big you are, it's a mat and that white cloth. That thing might even be China white. You know, that doesn't really cost a lot. And you are laid there. Look at the grave, the simplicity of the grave. Were you not here when a governor in Cross River State buried the mom and had even ACs installed in the private cemetery for these ACs computers monitoring the grave of someone who was dead? Computers monitoring the grave of someone who was dead. You see people
vanity of life.
Yeah, you see people who struggle through lives. They can't even pay hospital bills. A whole lot of issues. There's plenty debts they are in because they wanted to, you know, take care of their sick one in the hospital. And when this person dies, you would think that they would just quietly carry the person and go and bury. But no, they will put that person in a mortuary and then begin to raise money to bury this same person. Meanwhile, you're still owing hospital bill. You're still owing people who you borrowed money from. And then we'll have lots of festivities that will not give people the right to say they came for your mother's burial or your father's burial and you did not give them food in a burial ceremony. Anambra State at some point banned expensive rites at burials and funerals, but I do not know what happened to that. Like Victor said, we have laws, it's just the implementation. People, Southeasterners should learn from this. I've always maintained that the best thing is take care of yourself and yours when they are alive. When they are dead, bury them simply.
Just 1 minute, Laura. Let me just add a few things to what Amaka has just said. You know, these movies have the didactic side of it. The reason why they were produced. Perhaps you have watched this film, The Last Dawn. Before the Dawn died, he ruminated over his life. When he migrated to the US as a small boy, how he acquired fame, how he acquired wealth. He made an underlining statement, not without a cost. Nobody knows what the cost is. But in the course of that film, you will see the cost. He must have killed some people. He must have taken from some people. And he now concluded it. I thought I was going to live forever. That's what many of us think when we do whatever we are doing. You talked about acquiring wealth for generations yet to come. That is fallacy. You can acquire all the wealth, just one person will come and finish all of them within the space of less than 6 months.
That's if there is no accident that wipes out the entire family before them.
just look at that.
Yeah.
Go for now. All right, we are going to be leaving that there. But before we also go to our next story, there's this other, people reacted differently on Buhari's death. Like we saw, the social media was agog. What Igbos say, "Ndenakwa ndenochi." Some are crying, some are laughing. And then some are also trust Nigerians. I think that is why our resilience to hardship. We try to find fun and life in every situation, be it good or bad. And one was the one that happened in Ibadan, where there was a very striking man that had this striking resemblance to the late former president, Buhari, in the streets of Ibadan, or your state, where he was there dancing and entertaining people. Can we have that very shot where this man was just busy dancing on the street, and he had, in fact, the resemblance is awesome. Let's just have that clip, please. Okay, before the clip comes, Amaka, I don't know if you saw that clip.
I saw that clip, and you know, amazingly, the person who posted that video said, "Jubril cannot dance in peace," and I was wondering who be Jubril again. So I saw the video, and I was like, this has to be AI, because at first the resemblance was very uncanny. I saw him and said, this has to be, no, this is not Buhari. And I kept looking at his face to be sure until the man went very close to the car, you know, so I could actually see. Because before he went close to the car, I thought maybe it was makeup. You know, we've had other Nigerians who actually try to mimic someone using makeup. So I said maybe it was makeup. But when he went very close, and there was a close shot of him, I said, "Chai, people they resent. This is a doppelganger of Buhari. He could have passed for Buhari any time, any day, except for the age."
For the age,
and he even has Buhari's mannerism.
Mannerism, everything.
You sure this is not Victor's brother? I mean,
you know, you can see that.
If he had added, it was from here when he was passing. So I had the privilege of watching it on my phone yesterday. So when he was passing, I had to now zoom to find out that this guy is quite young. Is not Buhari. And the truth is, if you remove the cap, the glasses and the clothes, you might not actually see any difference.
At all.
But because he's dressed like Buhari, and this is a time when Buhari is the trending issue, we just have to see
this,
the resemblance. The way people were gathered watching, this person has to be from Victor's place.
So Victor, what is...
Yeah. One thing, give it to Nigerians. Time was when Nigerians were regarded as the happiest people on earth.
Yeah.
And that has been our staying strength. That whatever comes, we find a way of trivializing it. We find a way of reducing it to a comic relief. You know? And Nigeria is a very creative thing. When you go even into the creative industry today, Oyibos are coming to Nigeria to do skit.
Yeah, to learn.
Because most of the time, their comedy wasn't usually... some of us cannot laugh, listen to, and they are coming, but here now you will laugh and even... You watch some skits and even try to faint. Even when you are in a very bad mood, you will laugh. Just like this, our Bakaliki girl, Blessing, and her cash out boyfriend. I think the state government, I can urge the state government to really honor that girl. She's doing fine.
All right. All right, I think that's about it for the trending stories today, because as much as that is funny, we're still in a sober mood here in Nigeria, still mourning the death of our ex-president, General Muhammadu Buhari. Once again, our condolences with the family. But to leave you today on Sunrise, we are going to be playing the documentary courtesy of Nigerian Television Authority on the life and times of late Muhammadu Buhari.
All right, so that's a wrap today on Sunrise on Soul Television. Huge thanks to our in-house analyst, Ichie Victor. Anya, thank you so very much for
you better monetize this Ichie that you have given to me.
Very soon. Laura, please write a check.
Okay.
And Laura had a very brief incident with her leg, her heels. And we are hoping that by the time she shows up on Friday, lots of sacrifices that we make to be here. Laura, get well soon, right?
Thank you.
So we are hoping that by the time she shows up on Friday, she's much better and able to work as the Laura that we know. My name is Amaka Izechigo, and I just want to urge you to live life for now, okay? Some people will say, don't save your money in the bank, if you die. I'm not asking you not to save. Whatever money comes in, there's the one you spend, there's the one you save, there's the one you invest. But do not forget to live. Those times you see needs that you should take care of and you're thinking, I'm saving this my money for holiday. Who knows, as Victor says, who would leave for the holidays? I'll see you again on Friday.
All right, and from me here is a very good day. I mean, we've had fun today. I want to say a very thank you for giving us space in your heart and in your home, and on your, of course, your television, your phone, or wherever, to be part of the program today. Many thanks for watching. We'll see you again on Friday. Remain blessed.